unfortunate, thing that always seems to get brought up is that Ward situation. We got it. Even just posting about you coming on. I've always looked at that. People can have their opinions or whatever on what and all this and the other, but I think something that is missing when people think about that, and even for you, it had to be one of the most insane, crazy experiences of your entire life. I mean, accidental, purposeful, whatever, there's still a car that you were in that a person is gone from.
Well,
There's no one else watching. My point is, no one else watching this or
right,
commenting or shit talking has actually been in a situation where somebody's life was lost, accidental or purposeful. If I accidentally hit a damn dog, I would feel like shit. If
sure.
I'm mowing around ant piles outside, I don't want to destroy what they built. You know, Outside of that, accidental. Nobody's accidentally done, not too many people at least. That has to be a huge burden, or at least a huge something you think about that you can't get out of your mind. That memory, that lifespan, of that time period, whatever happened, the inside feeling of experiencing that has to still be so intense. Imagine the feeling the next morning. I could only mind blowing after something like that happens to be you.
It definitely, you know, and I'm going to use Richard Petty on this example. When I went to Atlanta, and I didn't race that weekend, but I went to the track, and I remember, Harvick came in my motorhome, and there were two other drivers in the motorhome at the time, and Richard came in and took me back to the bedroom in the motorhome away from everybody. And I didn't know his story. I didn't know that there was a year that he had went away from NASCAR because the OEM he was driving for pulled out of NASCAR at that time. So they sent him drag racing that year, and an accident happened and it killed somebody. And the one thing that Richard told me, he goes, as much as it doesn't seem like it right now, he goes, as time goes on, you'll think about it less and less, and when you do think about it, you'll spend less time thinking about it. And it's that way, but this is something that's never going away. I
Right.
wasn't to read the bullshit that people put on the internet about, oh, he was trying to intimidate him or he was mad and he threw a temper tantrum. Mad about what? I was running my fifth sprint car race since I blew my leg out and almost died at Oskaloosa and about bled out at the racetrack. I was just happy to be there. My cup crew chief was with me. I had a sponsor and his wife with me. Intimidating for what? There wasn't anything to intimidate.
Well, and see, that's why I mean, I don't even really care to talk about the incident on if or whatever or anybody's perspective. My thing would be more so like that experience that you had, the
Yeah,
fallout, that just experiencing that
it's never
is.
going away. It's
I don't
never
I
going to go
don't think
away.
I'm ever going to accidentally hurt somebody to that degree. A lot of people don't. I just think for you it has to be something. I'm assuming it took years to get over that personally, just that
I'm
happening.
never over it. I'm still not over it. I'm never going to be over it. It's not like at some point it's going to be okay that it happened.
Right. And it happened to a sprint car driver, like we've been describing. You
Yeah,
love this sport of
the
dirt
one
racing. I
number
mean,
one
all these
passion of
things. Right.
motorsports
Yeah,
in my mind.
exactly.
And I didn't know him. I didn't know anything about him. I don't know if I'd ever met him, but I didn't remember meeting him. But I was just happy to be doing what I love doing the
Right.
most. And I wasn't it wasn't like we had any issues on the racetrack. So to sit there and have it happen, I mean, literally the first thing I thought of was his family. And it's like I can't imagine what it's like. And now I've got a son who is literally 5 feet in front of me right now that just woke up from his nap. I can't imagine what that would be like to lose a spouse or to lose a child and but it, even if you could imagine it, that feeling's never going to go away.
Right.
I mean, to the day I die, I'm never going to forget what happened that night.
Right.
And I mean, I say if I could go back and change things, the number one thing I would have done was be nicer to people. Yeah. The other thing I would have done is skipped one night of sprint car racing to not have that accident ever happen
Right.
again. So it's, I think probably the worst part about it is the people that absolutely think they know exactly what happened and don't know any of the thing from the police reports, don't know what the driver in front of me said, don't know what the official that was standing at the edge of the racetrack on the inside of the track trying to assist before the accident happened, to sit there and hear what their statements were before they want to sit there and believe somebody that was behind me that I didn't have a good history with.
Well, and it's an
That's
open wheel car too. You know, you can't get all close. Like you had your Kenny Irwin Jr. deal at Martinsville, very similar, where you jump on the car a little bit. But that's
but
a
we got
fendered car;
close and
it's
didn't
different.
stop.
You know.
But it's different when you're looking at an accident and then you look up and there's somebody standing right in front of you.
Right.
It's like it's fight or flight, and everybody's, oh, you tried to spray him with dirt. There's no dirt to spray him with, and there's no reason to spray him with
Right.
dirt. I don't know what he was mad about. We didn't touch. I mean, it's not the first slide job that he'd ever had delivered to him. I'm sure he's delivered slide jobs to people too, but
Right.
it wasn't a dirty slide job. Nobody took each other out. I honestly, nobody's going to know what he was mad about,
Yeah.
but he's mad about something.
The
He's the only
defense
one
the
that knows
defense
that.
to it has to get tiring to see it continually brought up as well. You know, I
I
mean,
gave up on it. I give up on it because it's people that don't know what they're talking about, that weren't. There's people that talk about it that weren't even there, and you're sitting there making your judgment off of a shitty cell phone camera video that was on the opposite end of the racetrack. So it's like, how much validity do you put into these? Again, I go back to, these are people that don't like me for a totally different reason, but use this family and this guy as an avenue to
right.
make their case.
Right. Well, and if there's sympathy for them and the whole family there should, I think there should be some adequate sympathy for what you had to go through as well. You know, it's not
I
easy.
can deal with it. I would rather have the sympathy for the family,
Right.
because I don't know if they get on social media and watch racing, look up all the racing stuff, but if they have to keep reading this stuff and it just keeps getting put in their face left and right, and it's not like they forgot either.
No. Yeah. Sure.
There's not a day that
Yeah.
goes by that any of that family forgets about it. But to have it thrown in their face like that under those circumstances, I think shows a lack of character in these people. I don't give two shits if they don't like me. If they don't like me, that's on them. They have that right, and that's the great thing about being Americans. We can have our own opinions. But
You're just saying this is kind of like the lower the low when you're using this
I
scenario
think
where there's
so.
loss
I
of
believe that.
life.
Yeah, I mean, there, one of the people was from Washington State that just constantly uses Kevin as a tool. And it's like, that guy wasn't there. That guy didn't know Kevin Ward. So it's obvious that there's some other reason that guy doesn't like me. And that's fine. But if you're going to stoop that low to use a family and a guy that died in a crash like that, if that's your tool, you're pretty much a piece of shit person as a human being.
Right.
So all it does is make me feel better about myself, that I was there. I know exactly what happened. It's never going to go away. My memory's never. There's a lot of things I forgot. There's race wins that I forgot because of concussions. There's never going to be a moment in my life where I'm ever going to forget about that and sit there and be okay with it. It's just not going to happen. I just hope that nobody, not even my worst enemy, I would never want my worst enemy to have to go through that, because it's an emotion and a feeling that there isn't anything. There's nothing anybody can tell you to make it better. There's nothing
Right.
that the only thing that helps it get easier over time is just time. But it gets easier, but it doesn't go away. It's always going to be there. So, but when I hear people talk about it, it doesn't register with me in the way that they want it to register, because they think it's going to be hurtful to me. Well, at this point, it's just stupidity on their part.